You think a printer company makes its money selling you the printer. You walk into a store, you see a perfectly good color printer for $50, sometimes less. And you think, how do they make anything on that? The honest answer is, on the printer itself, often almost nothing. Sometimes the box on the shelf is priced to barely break even, or, according to industry reporting, even to lose a little. The printer was never the product. The product is the ink, and the ink, by the milliliter, is one of the most expensive liquids you will ever buy. Here's how it looks from the outside. A printer is a machine. Machines cost money to design, to manufacture, to ship. So the obvious story is the one every product seems to tell: the company builds the device, marks it up, sells it, and pockets the difference. Buy the printer, you've paid them, the transaction is done, and on the surface the prices line up with a cheap, competitive market. Entry-level inkjet printers routinely sell for well under $100, on sale, well under $50. That feels like a company fighting hard for your business on the hardware, shaving margins to win the sale. A casual observer would say thin margins, high volume, classic electronics retail. But look closer and the math gets strange. That $50 printer ships with starter cartridges. Run them dry, walk back to the store, and a single set of replacement cartridges can cost as much as the printer did, sometimes more. Think about that. The thing that runs out is priced like the thing that lasts. If the hardware were the business, the company would want to sell you as many printers as possible. Instead, the printer is cheap precisely so that you'll buy something else, again and again. The device is the doorway. What you pay for after you walk through it is where the money lives. So where does the money really come from? The consumable. Take HP, one of the largest printer makers in the world. HP splits its business into computers and printing, and inside printing it reports the hardware separately from what it calls supplies. The ink and toner. Supplies revenue runs on the order of $13 to $14 billion a year, and it is reported as the larger share of HP's printing revenue, bigger than the printers themselves. The refills earn the machines. And it's not just bigger revenue, it's far richer profit. HP's printing business consistently posts much higher operating margins than its computer business. Printing margins have run in the mid to high teens, while PCs scrape by in the low single digits. That gap is the whole story. The profit isn't in the box. It's in the cartridge you'll buy 6 months from now, and the one after that. Now put the per volume price next to that. By the milliliter, branded printer ink is extraordinarily expensive. Consumer analyses have repeatedly found that, drop for drop, cartridge ink can cost more than premium perfume or vintage champagne. You are not buying ink the way you buy a gallon of milk. You are buying it in tiny, proprietary, microchipped containers, at a price set by the only company whose printer it fits. So why does this hold together? Why can't you just pour in cheaper ink? This is where the mechanism gets clever. Many modern cartridges contain a small microchip. The printer reads that chip to check whether the cartridge is one it recognizes as genuine. Reporting by technology outlets has documented that printer firmware can decline to print when it doesn't recognize the cartridge as authentic. HP markets a version of this under the name dynamic security. Firmware updates tied to that feature, updates that stop some printers from working with third-party cartridges, have been the subject of consumer reporting and legal settlements over several years. The companies describe these systems in terms of security and quality. What's not in dispute is the effect the printer you own tends to work best, or only, with the cartridges the manufacturer sells. Step back and you see the structure. The printer is durable. The ink is not. The printer is cheap. The ink is dear. And the printer accepts essentially one kind of refill. Put those together and a $50 purchase quietly commits you to a stream of future purchases at the seller's price that, over the life of the machine, can dwarf what you paid for it. Economists have a tired old name for this: razor and blades. Give away the razor, sell the blades forever. The printer is the razor, every cartridge is a blade. And the industry keeps tightening the loop. HP and others now pushing subscriptions. HP's is called Instant Ink, where the printer watches your ink level and ships you cartridges automatically before you run out, for a monthly fee. HP has reported tens of millions of cumulative subscribers to that service. Read what that does. It turns a one-time refill into a recurring bill, the same shift that turned software into software as a service. Your printer is no longer a thing you own outright. It's a meter, quietly running, attached to a subscription. There's even a tell in the market's counter move. Epson built an entire product line, EcoTank, around big refillable tanks you fill from a bottle, and marketed it explicitly on the promise of escaping cartridge costs. You only sell people an escape hatch when enough of them feel trapped. The very existence of cartridge-free, as a selling point, tells you how expensive cartridges had become. So here's what a printer really is. Not a machine they sell you once. A meter they install in your house, calibrated to keep selling you the one thing it consumes. The hardware is the customer acquisition cost, the ink is the business. And once you see that shape, you start seeing it everywhere, a cheap thing that locks you into an expensive, recurring thing only it can use. The console sold near cost so it can sell you games. The coffee machine that takes only one brand of pod. The money is almost never in the device humming on your desk. It's in the little sealed container it can't run without. Next time, we pour a cup of that exact trick. The espresso machine that's practically free, because the whole business is the pod. That's Nespresso and Keurig. And the money was never in the machine.